this time of year is one of the most eagerly anticipated. As I mean, not only is it the NCAA tournament, but I mean, baseball starts up for another season, and also there's the anticipation of the NFL draft. But I mean, first things first, you know, everybody looks forward to the NCAA tournament because of its unpredictability. But you want to know something? This year, it's been predictability. Why? All four number one seeds have made it to the Final Four. That's right. Houston, Auburn, Florida, and Duke all made it. And right now, if I had to venture a guess for the national title, I'd say Duke is the one who's in the driver's seat. They're the one who's playing the best of all four of them. But that's why they have the Final Four. And also, in the women's, 3 of the 4 number one seeds made it. And an old favorite, or we should say one who's always there, Gino Auriemma and UConn, appears in their 24th Final Four. You know, it almost seems regular as clockwork. We see what that Italian emigre and his Huskies do. There's no doubt Gino Auriemma is one of the greatest coaches there is in basketball. And I mean, that's saying something for somebody who emigrated from Italy, didn't speak English when he came here to the United States, and learned how to coach the game and turned it into his own. And his coaching style is a style that I think a lot of coaches ought to go. Yeah, he does needle his players. Yeah, he does try to get their goat. But you know, it works. Gino Auriemma is definitely one of the all-time greats. And I'm wondering how the UConn women are going to do going forward. Well, I mean, talking about the NCAA, I guess there's a little bit of an uproar again about Kim Mulkey. Yeah, the fiery coach who is one of the all-time greats in women's basketball, player and coach. Because you know what? Again, she showed why she, in some ways, is the female Bobby Knight, calling out a reporter for something that was said, and I guess it was a student reporter. But I mean, heck, she's put reporters in their place quite a few times, much like Bobby Knight did. But of course, you got all the eggheads like Stephen A. Smith, the biggest egghead of them all, saying, hey, you know what? She's rude. She's condescending. She's all that. You know what? You're just someone who doesn't like it when somebody's blunt and tells the truth. You know what, Stephen A. Smith? There's times I felt you should just shut up. I mean, heck, there's a lot of times with him and other reporters that they should just put up or shut up. And I mean, heck, but Kim Mulkey can say whatever she wants. Of course, about her outfits, I definitely have to say, hey, she definitely needs to go see Jean-Paul Gaultier or Ralph Lauren or anybody else who's one of the best designers. Because you know what? She kind of needs a look that's not so loud. You know, especially, hey, she doesn't need a bow, if you know what I mean. She doesn't need to wear a basket, if you know what I mean. But hey, I feel Kim Mulkey should say what she wants to say. Good luck to her. Of course, LSU was eliminated. But good luck to all the teams in the Final Four. Of course, you know what? With all number one seeds pretty much except for UConn, you know, it's boring. You know, we'll see next week who the NCAA champion is. Now I'm going to go from talking about them to seeing how the NCAA can again be a bunch of jackasses. You know, it seemed like a great idea. Deion Sanders trying to get another team to scrimmage him out in Boulder for the spring game for Colorado. But you want to know something? Syracuse wanted to step up and do it. Fran Brown wanted to step up. Heck, it would have been great out in Boulder. Of course, going against prime time probably would have definitely raised the publicity and also the profile of Syracuse athletics. But of course, the NCAA, knowing that they've lost a lot of their power, especially against NIL rules and especially against all the other rules concerning income to the students, and of course with the portal, nixed the idea. Yeah, the NCAA still shows at times that, hey, they want to rule the sport and they can be a bunch of jackasses about it. You know something? Hey, you should have let them. I mean, yeah, prime time's prime time. And yeah, he's probably eagerly awaiting what's going to happen with his son in the NFL draft. I've heard of a couple teams trying to get into position to try to draft him. But you know what? Do you want the headache of prime time being in your city? You know, all those years ago, I thought he was too much of a showman. Yeah, prime time. Yeah, in ways he did put up. But there's times he should have shut up. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he played 2 sports. Yeah, he dumped water on Tim McCarver in one of the greatest moments I ever watched. But you know, there's times prime time is a little too prime time. Yeah, he's got his name up in neon lights. But of course, the NCAA shows that they can be a bunch of jackasses also. You know, it should have happened. And I guess they're going to try again next year. Of course, we got to look forward to the spring game for Syracuse on the 12th in the Dome. It originally was going to be at the soccer stadium, but Billy Joel had a little health scare, and his concert with Sting was postponed till next year. Good luck to Billy Joel. I hope to see you again. But you know what? We're going to enjoy something pretty good with Syracuse. Hopefully we get to see what the Orange maybe have in store for this fall when we have a pretty difficult schedule. And of course, going along with Syracuse, you know, like I said, it's just another thing with the lacrosse team. Death, taxes, and another routine meeting against Virginia, which turned out to be a victory for Gary Gate and the Orange, 12-10. Let's keep it going, Syracuse lacrosse. You know what? I'm pretty proud of them, seeing how they've recovered from their early season misstep. But of course, we'll see what happens as they get into the stretch part of the schedule. Now I'm going to go from talking about Syracuse to talking about these new bats. Yes, it's the start of another baseball season. And we get, for the next few months, we get to see America's pastime. But now I'm kind of wondering about a few of the changes, including this one with the torpedo bats. Who knew that there were submarines stationed outside Yankee Stadium or any other team that are using these? Supposedly these are a new contraption that was brought up, and hey, the bats are kind of styled to the player's power, especially, all rise, Aaron Judge and all the other Yankees and other teams. A lot of other teams have seen what these torpedo bats are. Supposedly the wood, the bulk of the wood in the bat is moved to the spot where the player often makes contact the most times. The, quote, sweet spot, unquote. But you know what? Why call them torpedo bats? I mean, I don't think submarines work out of the water. But I mean, heck, they could say snapshot tubes 2 and 4. Con sonar, we got a bat coming into Yankee Stadium. It's heading for Aaron Judge's hands. Here it comes. Do they sound a collision alarm before it comes to Aaron Judge? Or do they sound a collision alarm before it comes to Mr. Chisholm? Or does it sound an alarm? Hey, torpedo bats. Of course, are they made of ash? 'Cause I know ash kind of fell out of favor when the emerald ash borer kind of made its way around and weakened the ash tree crop. Do they start using hickory again, or do they start using maple wood? Maple, I guess, was the bats that Barry Bonds used. But I thought maple was kind of a little bit too soft a wood for a baseball bat. We'll see. Yeah, the torpedo bats. We'll see what happens. Last but not least, I have an announcement to make. After 17 years, I felt it was time that, hey, my time on this network had run its course. And you know what? I thought it's time to retire. But you want to know something else? Gotcha, April Fool. You'll see me around. I don't plan to leave just yet. Next week will be pretty much my final show of the season. But you aren't getting rid of me that easy. No, no. I'm gonna be in your nightmares. See you next week.